Hello and welcome to Power Skills with Janna. I'm Janna Jones, your leadership development specialist, coach, and mentor, and I'm here to help you build the skills that matter most in your personal and professional life. Let's start today's episode with a question. Have you ever ended a week or even a whole month and thought, I've been so busy, but I'm not sure what I've actually achieved? If so, I can relate, and you are absolutely not alone. In today's episode on overcoming the barrier of busy, we are going to dive into how you can start reclaiming your time and energy. And I want to talk about how being busy can sometimes become the biggest blocker of progress to clarity and to well-being. So, what is the barrier of busy? Well, let's start by calling out the truth. Busy feels productive. Absolutely. It gives us a hit of adrenaline. It satisfies our need to feel useful. But here's the danger, because busy doesn't always equal effective. In fact, it can be the very thing that's stopping you from moving forward meaningfully. Have a think about this. How often do you use busy as an automatic answer? How are you? Oh, I've been so busy. How was work? Oh, flat out. How's that goal coming along? Honestly, I've just been too busy lately. Busy has become a badge of honor in our culture, but it's also a barrier. It keeps us in a reactionary mode. It distracts us from our real priorities, and it can push us into burnout if we're not careful. I often work with leaders and professionals who have incredibly brilliant ideas, but they're buried under layers of busyness. They're sprinting on the spot. They're juggling meetings and emails and to-do lists. And yet, the things that matter most, the strategic planning, the personal growth, the innovation, creating meaningful connections, those things keep getting pushed down the list. So the real question becomes, what are we busy with? And is it really serving us? Perhaps there are already signs for you that busy is holding you back. So let's take a moment to recognize some signs that the barrier of busy might be getting in your way. Are you always rushing but rarely feel accomplished? Is your calendar full but your goals feel really distant? Are you constantly multitasking and yet nothing feels complete? You're creatively and energy, you kind of feel drained of both of those things. Do you say yes out of habit and then regret it later? Does any of that sound familiar? Because busy tends to fill up every available space unless we intentionally create boundaries and structure around our time and energy. So I want to share something that one of my coaching clients said recently. They said, I feel like I'm living out of my inbox. I'm so reactive. I don't even know what I want anymore. I just keep responding. This is the barrier of busy. It's when responsiveness replaces intention or purpose. You're living into other people's priorities instead of your own. Now, let's work on reclaiming our time and energy, because by exploring some of the power skills to help us to overcome the barrier of busy, we can reprioritize. So number one, pause to prioritize. You actually cannot course correct unless you're willing to stop, take stock. So pause. And I mean that. You must pause and reflect in order to course correct. Even 5 minutes of intentional reflecting each morning can shift your mindset from reactive to proactive. So try this. Ask yourself, what are the 3 most important things that I need to move forward today? Prioritize progress over perfection. And give yourself permission to let go of low impact tasks. A little pro tip here, keep a not now list. These are great ideas or tasks, but don't need your immediate attention. but they can live in a parking lot of future possibilities instead of on a loop of self-deprecation in your brain. Number 2, protect time for deep work. Deep, focused work is where the real magic happens, but it rarely happens by accident. So you might like to try blocking out some time in your calendar as focus time or strategic space, switching off notifications or using do not disturb mode. If you're a leader, please make sure that your team know that you're doing this, because that will help them to know when to expect a response from you, and also help you to feel a sense of ease as you step away from distractions. Scheduling admin tasks after your creative or high energy time. So for example, I know that I'm a morning person. I always have been. So I plan my high cognitive work for the morning, meetings at around lunchtime, and my admin work and cleanup and emails for after 2 p.m. when I'm running a little bit lower. I've had clients set up one morning per week as a CEO block, even if they're not CEOs. It's time that reminds them to zoom out, to think more strategically about the bigger picture, or to work on the business or their department rather than just in it. Number 3, say a conscious yes and a confident no. Busy often comes from overcommitting or saying yes too quickly, but every yes is a no to something else when we're busy. So practice saying, let me check my calendar and I'll get back to you. Actually, that's not something that I can take on right now, but thank you so much for thinking of me. Or, I'd love to help, but I really need to focus on X this week. Sometimes a no is not really an option. I get that too. When my executive leaders would ask me for something as a priority, I would make sure that I clarified, saying something along the lines of, actually, I'm currently working on A and B right now, but in light of that shifting priority, what would you like me to drop? Or, if I can enlist the help of person A and B, perhaps we can make this happen within the new timelines. Clarify. In seeking clarification, sometimes it offers the other person the opportunity for clarity as well. So I've often had leaders and clients alike come back and say, oh no, actually, A and B are still the priorities. This can wait a week. Your workload is not always on everyone else's radar, so that clarity can be key. Remember that clear and considered is better than vague and resentful. Number 4, delegate and automate. You don't have to do everything yourself. At work, what can you delegate, even if it's not perfect? Remember that delegation is also an opportunity to allow others to step up and to learn from you. At first, it may take a bit more time in coaching and mentoring, but in the long run, it is well worth it. At home, can you automate some errands or simplify your routines or maybe get some help? For example, I do my weekly food shop on a Monday after dinner, online with my iPad and a TV show playing in the background, because it's far simpler than the chaos of the shops, and the algorithm actually knows my usual shop. So I can save lists and shop half-price specials for kids' lunches with ease, without walking the aisles, and that helps me to semi-automate. Remember, your time is valuable. Delegation isn't about being too good for tasks. It's about preserving your energy for the things only you can do best. Number 5, reconnect with your why. Busyness often disconnects us from our deeper purpose. So reconnecting with your why brings meaning back to your effort and helps you to stay focused. Ask, what am I working towards and why does it matter? Will this task help me get closer to my goals or my vision? What would make this week feel meaningful rather than just full? It isn't about hustling harder. It's about aligning your time with your values. Number 6, create time for recovery. If you're always on, you're not giving your brain and body the rest that they need to think clearly, make decisions, and to perform well. Rest is not a reward for productivity. It is part of your productivity system. Perhaps you might like to try scheduling some white space in your calendar, using one non-negotiable hour a week just for yourself, practicing stillness, whether that's meditation or mindfulness, journaling, or even just walking, taking the dogs for a walk, no phone. Busy is not a status symbol. It is not your worth, and it doesn't have to define your life. Instead, let's choose intentionality. Let's choose energy over exhaustion, focus over frenzy, and progress over panic. So here's your reflection for this week. Where has busy been getting in the way? And what is one thing that you can change this week to create more space for what it is that really matters to you? And if this episode resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. What are you letting go of? What are you reclaiming? If perchance you would like a tool to help you map your current leadership capacity, I've created a leadership energy map that you can download for free. Please just send me a message via Power Skills Development on LinkedIn or Instagram or even Facebook, or get in contact via www.powerskillsdevelopment.com. For those of you that are already subscribed to our mailing list, you will have received it in your inbox this morning. If you're listening to this on a Tuesday, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Power Skills with Janna. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone that you know who is ready to move beyond busy and into truly intentional living. You can visit my website and subscribe to those weekly emails that I just mentioned. Then you will get email insights, helping you to create pause in your leadership practice once a week. You will also have first access to those free tools, those downloads that I shared with you, notification of any upcoming events, coaching availability, and a few other things that I think are interesting. Until next time, stay intentional, stay curious, and remember, you don't have to do more to be more. Have a wonderfully spacious week.